Hello and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am the Crushinator and I will be your host for this evening's Heroic Division matchup between Archon and Double Paradox. Just making sure the lobby is good to go. Oh, there's a little bit of a change there. Alright, I think we're all good. Teams are just sorting out who's supposed to be the band captain. We're going to head over to the map screen and figure out the state of this series. Cursed Hollow, Battlefield of Eternity, Tomb of the Spider Queen, and Braxis Holdout are banned for today's matchup. You know what that means is open? That means Hanamura's open. Oh, such controversy. No Hanamura for game number 1, though. Archon is taking us to Infernal Shrines. Pretty standard matchup here for these two squads. Infernal Shrines, probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the most played map in NGS again this season. It was by quite a lot in Season 9. But enough stalling from me. Let's get into the draft and see how we're doing for game number 1. Archon will be second act, as I forgot who was first pick. Double Paradox with the first ban here on Infernal Shrines. I did a little bit of scouting for these two teams to see what they played last season, what they generally play, and then I realized a lot of that is probably out the window. These are heroic level teams. These are adaptable teams that play on the current patch. If they played last patch, doesn't matter. We're going to see Mephisto banned away by Double Paradox to start off with. I did notice a little bit of Mephisto in the pick history of Archon. So, what little research there was to be had seems to be coming up big for Double Paradox as we see Ana banned away by Archon. Another thing we often see at this level is we see some more in-depth bans. We don't just see the straight meta bans. You don't just scroll to the top of Hot Slogs or Heroes profile and ban that way. More targeted, more specific to the strategy you're tending to play. So we've got the Mephisto ban, we've got the Garrosh ban coming out from Double Paradox, wanting to make sure that they're not displaced too much and not harassed too much. So that leads me to think they might be going with a more protective style comp. We'll see how they want to lay this out as we see Mei banned away by Archon. Mei's still very, very strong. Kind of the whole kitchen sink in terms of a tank kit. Big Muff McGuff, Mamadovi, welcome. Eiko is going to snap up the Rainer first pick here for Double Paradox. Rainer just sort of all around strong, and in terms of, you know, banning away Mephisto and Garrosh, makes a lot of sense when you've got the Rainer on your team. Rainer doesn't like so much being displaced and taking random poke damage. So we'll likely see Eiko thrive a little bit. We'll see how the draft goes. But just like that, we see the blinding Amazon Cassia, and Little Bex is going to pick up the Deckard as well. Midnight Haze on that Cassia. Cassia, another round of Surge of Light nerfs. I think she's still pretty damn good. I think she's still pretty incredible. Majesty, how you doing? Wipeout is going to pick up Urel, and Rucktel is going to get onto the Lucio here. These pits on Infernal Shrines, these fight pits, there's a whole lot of walls, there's a whole lot of space that Lucio can control, and Urel, just a fantastic choice in lane, can double soak, can body around most solo laners, and can survive with the best of them. So we'll see Wipeout piloting the Draenei as the third ban from Archon is being pondered. See if it's going to continue to be the tank choke. It is. ETC taken off the board here. Likely not to see a tank ban from Double Paradox as it is Archon's next pick, and they're likely going to pick their tank of choice. We often see something like a Diablo with Deckard. That's a pretty common little combo. Though anything that just sort of stuns things out. And actually, we do see a Diablo ban. So getting rid of that Apocalypse, Stay a While and Listen combo is Double Paradox. We'll see what Archon wants to pair with this Deckard now. There's a little bit of a shortage on tanks here. Johanna still available. Anubarak still available. It's going to be the Johanna coming out from Hunter CJR, and JTR is going to grab the Orphea. Orphea did get a little bit hit on the last round of nerfs, but still performing very well. Especially a lot of flank opportunities on Infernal Shrines. That's where Orphea can really shine, dancing around the edges there. Double Paradox with their last 2 picks. They're looking for some more damage. They're looking for a front line. See what they opt to go with here. It's going to be Junkrat and Mal'Ganis. Junkrat, absolutely masterful with the zone control, the traps and the mines, being able to move around, create space, and just generally poke down anyone that they want. Mal'Ganis does decently well into Johanna there, though there's a somewhat lack of stuns on the side of Archon right now. We'll see if they can pick that up. They're going to go with the Leoric to go against Yrel in lane. There are definitely stuns available to slow down the Mal'Ganis. Not a ton, but Johanna's got a couple. Eventually Leoric's got the silence. So we'll see how it goes. But let's get ready to go. Archon versus Double Paradox, game number 1 on Infernal Shrines. Let's get into it. Alrighty, loading on into Infernal Shrines. Get another quick look at the comps before we are ready to go. There's not a lot of opportunity to pull Raynor out of position on the side of Archon. They're going to have to rely on some flanks to get on top of the big Marine. But we're ready to go. Game number 1 is underway. On the left in the blue, we have Archon with Midnight Haze playing the Cassia, Hunter CJR on the Johanna, Little Bex playing the Deckard, Fatal Rampage on the Leoric, and waiting in the base, JTR playing the Orphea. On the right in the red, we have Double Paradox with Wipeout on the Yrel, I Just Fizzed playing Mal'Ganis, Aelodyne on the Raynor, Rucktel playing Lucio, and Echo on the Junkrat. Game number 1 is underway here on Infernal Shrines. Not seeing any quest talents coming out so far. Well, we actually see the Q build coming out from Cassia, going to be landing those Thunderstrokes, those Qs, and stacking those up as the game moves ahead. We see the Root Mine combo, the Wraithwalk looking to be enough for Fatal Rampage to start off with, or will it be Mal'Ganis on the flank? That's going to be an early kill onto Leoric, who will be very quickly back on the battlefield. Counter push coming in here from Archon. Double Paradox members very low as Midnight Haze is bringing the fens. But it's Orphea that's going to go down first. That's 2 kills here for Double Paradox as they look to control the rotations between mid lane and bot lane here. Aelodyne and the rest of Double Paradox forcing Johanna back. Clearing out this wave, and they're going to start their rotation. Orphea coming back from that early death. It's going to be Wipeout versus Fatal Rampage, Leo versus Yrel in that top lane. Team's going to go ahead and start up these Khazra camps. Looks like Double Paradox is on there a little bit earlier. As I go ahead and drop some frames here. Sorry about that. Loading back in. Double Paradox picking up their Khazra camp. It looks like they will not look to invade Archon as the crew finishes up the Khazra camp on the left. However, they will be moving towards this neutral camp on the bottom. Hunter CJR looking to get onto this point. Does pop that Iron Skin. Is going to get on top of the point, and we've got the fight here. The mine is interrupted. Or not interrupted, but avoided. Raynor going to have to back on out of there, getting poked down by Midnight Haze, and it will be Archon who takes that camp. Very nice invade there. Yrel and Leoric trying to rotate around here, get as much soak as possible as both teams hitting level 4 simultaneously. I Just Fizz looking to get a sleep on the backline. Does land onto Cassia. Once again, there's the Iron Skin getting Hunter CJR out of there, but goodness, Cassia not so lucky. A fantastic mine onto the trap. And that's the third kill of the game here for Double Paradox. Moving to the mid lane, clearing out the enemy camp. Taking a quick look at the experience. 1,000 experience on those hero kills. Very even on the minions and the mercenaries so far. Both teams going to go ahead and pick up their shaman camps in preparation for this arcane shrine coming up in the bottom lane here. Early damage numbers seem to be favoring Orphea and Junkrat for Archon and Double Paradox here as we head into shrine number 1. Both teams going to be looking for level 7. Don't want to be down a Talon tier for this first objective. Leo coming on down to try to counter-soak the Yrel. It looks like Double Paradox is going to get right on top of this point, getting a quick count on these minions, already up to 8. But Archon is ready to come on in and control this point. Both solo laners are here, so no counter-soaking. It's going to be a 5-on-5 team fight. Just Fizz is in deep, trying to get away from that Leoric Drain Hope. Hunter CJR controlling the DPS below the shrine. And it looks like we are now even on minions, working to control this middle space. Fatal Rampage not landing the W, is going to have to walk over those Deckard potions. Still very even on the shrine here. Hunter CJR catches the majority of Double Paradox in that Condemn. JTR being forced out by Mal'Ganis for the meantime. Yrel jumping onto the backline. There's a whole lot of disruption going onto the backlines of both teams right now. Looks like Orphea may be the first to fall here, getting caught by Lucio and Mal'Ganis. There's the double sleep onto the backline. Aeladin using that Gladiator's Medallion, but will not be enough. And it will be Archon picking up this first Arcane Punisher of the game. 1 for 1 on the kills, but managing to get a couple more last hits, and they're going to have this Punisher pushing down the bottom lane. Nice bait by Rucktel, getting this Punisher towards the fort. Hunter CJR is thrown way over the wall there. Having to use the Iron Skin, the gate is knocked down, so Johanna's going to be able to escape. There's the second jump from the Punisher as it falls. Most of the wall taken out, still a part of that cannon alive. As Archon going to have to back on out of here. Overall, pretty nice defense there from Double Paradox, as they do manage to save this, this cannon tower for now. Leoric pushing very hard in the top lane as both these teams working on their Khazra camps. Fatal Rampage getting right up into the wall of Double Paradox here. Both four-mans in the bottom lane looking to get control, get the vision to get on top of that neutral camp. JTR putting out those Orphea Qs. Some nice damage onto Mal'Ganis is going to force I Just Fizz to move on back. And it looks like Archon is going to try to take control of this bottom camp. Some counter soak from Echo in the mid lane as Fatal Rampage trying to get their double soak going. Archon will be picking up this Khazra camp without much fuss. Yrel alone in the top lane for now. If we take a look at the experience, it looks like Archon is ahead a little bit on those minions on their quest towards level 10, but I think both teams are going to have heroics at about the same time, and they'll definitely have them both before the next Frozen Shrine in the top lane. Simple rotations going on here. Heroics will be in for Archon first. It's going to be the Stale While and Listen from Deckard, the Blessed Shield. I Just Fizzed, slowing down the Johanna rotation with that Night Rush. Eternal Feast from the Orphea, and Tomb from Leoric, and Ball Lightning coming out from the Cassia. So no Valkyrie this game. Just trying to put out as much extra damage as possible. But 10s are here for Double Paradox as well. It's going to be the Carrion Swarm from Mal'Ganis, the Beat Drop, Sound Barrier from the Lucio. That is Riptire from Junkrat, Ardent Defender from Yrel, and Hyperion coming out for Raynor, helping that siege with the big spaceship. Oh yeah. Looking to possibly control these rotations. Here comes Double Paradox, a nice stun onto Johanna, forcing out that Iron Skin. A nice zoning route coming out from Deckard, pushing the rest of Double Paradox back around this terrain. Archon moving to the mid lane, helping Leoric with that clear. There is the ball lightning coming out from Midnight Haze. The Riptire is put out, and we've got the fight going on here. There's the Hyperion and the Carrion Swarm trying to chase down Midnight Haze. Is Mal'Ganis, lands the third Fell Claws. Mal'Ganis is stuck under tower range, though. This could be trouble for I Just Fizz. The Sound Barrier saving a lot of Mal'Ganis' health there. Nice roots onto Fatal Rampage, not allowing the chase to continue. Orphea will be the next to fall once again. Double Paradox really keying onto the Orphea in these fights. A nice Wraith Walk is going to allow Leoric to get on out of there. But once again, Double Paradox taking control in these team fights. Frozen Shrine in the top lane will be the next point of focus. You're all going to get some soak done in the off lanes. The rest of Double Paradox going to grab this camp and have it push out this mid lane here that Echo is set to clear. Archon is back on the field. Hunter CGR controlling the vision in the mid lane. It looks like Archon is not concerned with their Shaman camp just yet. Once again, the Iron Skin goes out, negating the remote mine from Junkrat. Leo starting to come up to the top lane. Yrel hot on his heels. There's a nice stun onto Junkrat. Big damage coming out from Orphea. And the flanking Entomb. We got a little bit of a split fight going on here. Junkrat is forced down towards the middle lane while the rest of Archon trying to get damage onto Mal'Ganis. There's a nice tip of the triangle route. Fatal Rampage needs one more auto. That's Raynor going down here. I Just Fizz using the Night Rush to get away. With that one kill for Archon, that means they're going to be able to get on top of this shrine. Yrel never did come up from the middle lane, so he's going to have a little bit of counter soak here. Level 13 to 12 for Double Paradox, but still 10 seconds till Raynor's back on the field. Leoric now taking the opportunity to grab some extra experience, get level 13 here for Archon. Double Paradox looking for a possible rotation onto Leoric, but we'll find that the lane is empty as Fatal Rampage has moved up to the top lane. Archon with 33 minions will be cleaning up this pit, and this Frozen Punisher will be theirs. There it goes. Leo already all the way down to the bottom lane, going to be working on that double soak. Yrel will be countering. It'll be a 4-on-4 engagement along with this Punisher. I Just Fizz trying to bait it over the wall. There it goes. Didn't get it quite with the first cast. The Gladiator's Medallion to get rid of the stun. Counter engage onto Hunter CJR. Johanna being very careful to try to not get the fort aggro, but it is turned off by the Frozen Punisher. Wipeout in the back line of Archon. Here comes the Junkrat Tire as well, trying to put some extra damage onto Deckard. Double rooted is Junkrat. I Just Fizz has to pop the Carrion Swarm to get out of that Entomb. Wipeout is all over the members of Archon. Here comes the Big Sleep, catches 3. The Eternal Feast is out as well. They want Mal'Ganis, and Archon's going to get him. Enemy tank is taken out. There's the Ardent Defender trying to jump onto CJR. It will be a kill onto Johanna. The Sound Barrier as well. Echo is on the chase. Leoric going to die in the background. It's a counter kill onto Lucio here. It's a total bloodbath. Wipeout does not have the Ardent Defender. Aelodyne is trying to get away from Midnight Haze. Look at that fend. The Surge of Light completing the kill onto Raynor. It's a 3 for 2. And Archon are going to move towards this top fort with only Junkrat and Yrel to try to stop this. Fatal Rampage will be resurrecting shortly here as well. So it looks like Archon will claim this top fort and the first structure of the game. Oh, I Just Fizzed actually back on the field fast enough to force back the members of Archon, so this top fort will live for now. And the race to 16 is on. Leo using that extra long Wraith Walk to move in between lanes. Looks like Archon wants to start up their Shaman camp. Double Paradox thinking about moving towards their Khazar camp. Fatal Rampage is there for the disruption on the rotation. Using the Wraith Walk early to try to avoid that Night Rush, and that is successful. Archon is going to go ahead and pick up their Shaman camp to help push in the top lane. Aggressive rotation here by Double Paradox. They're going for the camp steal, but Archon is hot on their heels. Johanna using that Unstoppable to negate the zone control of Junkrat, and Double Paradox is going to back on out. They do not want this fight. And Archon steals away the camp. Fatal Rampage moving ahead, looking for a possible Entomb. Now Archon working on the camp steal. They are briefly ahead in levels here. Level 16, not here in time for Double Paradox to contest this camp. Raynor trying to catch this XP in the bottom lane. Both teams now at 16. Archon going to work on the neutral causer camp in the bottom lane. That's a lot of blue camps on the map. Yrel trying to get the clear in the top lane. The rest of Double Paradox going to work on this bottom lane defense. Getting ready for the Mortar Punisher that will be moving down the bottom lane for the next objective. Fatal Rampage does land that big Drain Hope. No stun onto Leoric. So it looks like Fatal Rampage going to be just fine here. But with that defense in the mid lane, bottom lane, Archon is going to claim that fort. Yrel still working on the lane clear. Keeping this lane close at heart. As we now see Archon trying to get this mid-tower win well, and they will do them. So no more wells available for Double Paradox before they move back to the keeps, and all wells still available here for Archon as they go ahead and start up this Mortar Shrine. Double Paradox trying to catch up this bottom lane so they have another point of entry onto this shrine. Fatal Rampage is zoning, anchoring in that vent. We'll catch the rotations of Double Paradox. Looking to possibly cut off the retreat, lowering the damage. That's a lot of damage onto Echo, actually. There goes the zoning Eternal Feast, the Entomb a little bit late there. Carrion Swarm keeping Mal'Ganis alive for now. Riptire is taken out. Hunter CJR is in a lot of trouble, and Johanna is going to go down here. Medallion not enough. Lucio counterkilled, though. Big sleep onto 2. Wipeout working on Fatal Rampage in the pit. Aelodyne being chased away by JTR. Midnight Haze in a lot of trouble here. The Surge of Light not enough. Cassia's going to go down. It's a 2-for-1 for now for Double Paradox. Let's see if they can get onto this point. A lot of members very low here. With Lucio down, they're not going to be able to heal up, and Archon is going to claim another Punisher. It's going to be a Mortar Punisher pushing down the bottom lane. Though we do have a Shaman camp in the top lane that they're going to have to deal with. Leoric is sticking with the pack here. Johanna up in 10 seconds, will likely be moving up to catch that camp. Looks like Archon isn't going to do a hard push. They're just going to leave Leoric here to try to aid the siege. Nicely avoiding the mine, not getting launched into the base, and Leoric will make the safe play and move on back. Johanna has moved to the top lane to clear up this camp, though it has already taken out the gate, or part of the gate, and all of one cannon. Punisher taken out in the bottom lane. So not quite enough power that Archon still had on the field to get much done with that Punisher. It does take out most of the wall. Look at that health bar. Wipeout moving to the top lane along with Rucktel. Coming back around. Ooh, I just fizzed. Was working on getting on top of that camp. Is rooted by Decker. This is a lot of damage out onto Mal'Ganis. The Entomb making the positioning very tough. The sound barrier is baited out. Wipeout is all over the backline of Archon, but Fatal Rampage wants to slow down the retreat as much as possible. There's the Carrion Swarm. Eternal Feast is committed as well. Fatal Rampage in a lot of trouble. Oh, pops the Medallion, but still goes down to those Raynor shots. Nice job by Junkrat putting the backline up front. That's Raynor down, that's Lucio down. Archon is turning this thing around. Wipeout trying to retreat is caught by Johanna. Mal'Ganis is next to fall. The Medallion for Wipeout to try to keep up that movement speed, and it looks like Yrel and Junkrat are going to get away for the price of Leoric. A happy trade here for Archon. Leoric going to be draining on to Yrel, trying to get back on the field as fast as possible. Archon trying to make something happen here in the bottom lane. And they're going to grab this bottom keep. Junkrat throwing in those grenades, but only for a little bit of damage. Those Deckard potions are keeping Archon very, very healthy. Bottom keep is down. Leo is back on the field. It's about 5 seconds till Lucio and Raynor are back. So Archon have a couple more seconds to keep up the pressure. This Causer camp is really raining down the pain on this keep wall. And that's another piece of architecture taken out by Archon. Mal'Ganis now back on the field. Archon going to retreat back to the enemy siege camp. Going to go ahead and pick that up and likely move on down to the neutral camp. Fatal Rampage scouting for an invade. Archon thinking about their next move. Double Paradox. Kind of locked in their base right now. The lanes are all the way pushed in. They've got to think about level 20. They need just a couple more minion waves and level 20 will be here. Fatal Rampage is still holding Sentinel. Using that Wraith Walk to check things out, head on back towards the team. We will see the neutral camp being taken. And it is level 20 for both of our squads. Arcane Shrine will be going down the middle lane. Double Paradox picking up the Shaman camp on the right-hand side. Archon scouts them out. Fatal Rampage, popping that Wraith Walk early. But keeping the vision very, very important post-level 20 for these two teams. Shrine is started here by Double Paradox. Yrel in the bottom lane looking to zone out. Looks like Archon trying to bully their way in through the middle. Hunter CJR is jumped on by Yrel. Fatal Rampage lowering the damage of Double Paradox. There is the Carrion Swarm pop. The Eternal Feast is out as well. Here comes the Riptire trying to get onto Orphea. JTR. Oh, the nice stun from Hunter CJR will not stop the damage onto JTR though. Oh, the Ardent Defender is there in time. The Sound Barrier up as well. There's the Hyperion trying to pepper the backline of Archon with damage. A great jump by Wipeout is going to take out Orphea. And Yrel is just once again causing havoc in these fights. Ardent Defender is down though. And once again, I'm disconnecting because I've got a great piece of internet right now. Lovely. Fatal Rampage gets the silence out onto Junkrat, and Mal'Ganis is going to pay the price here. Wipeout trying to use that Hand of Freedom to get away from Midnight Haze. 1Q doesn't land, but the Thunderstroke is enough, and Yrel will fall. Bottom lane, 45% on the core here. This camp went unattended while that fight went on. Shaman camp and Catapults taking the core of Double Paradox down to 45%. Meanwhile, in the top lane, this Shaman camp will be dealt with by Fatal Rampage working on this keep. Orphea, 10 seconds till they're back on the field, but still a ways off for Mal'Ganis and Yrel, as this Arcane Punisher is going to push down the middle lane. Orphea will be working to catch up with the crew here, as well as Leoric. Double Paradox has the opportunity to get a little bit of damage on this Punisher before Archon's at full strength. A great use of the medallion there by Lucio to bait this Punisher forward. Orphea and Leo are with the pack now, so this is the defense. Can Double Paradox hold off the entirety of Archon along with this Punisher? There's the stun. Big roots onto Leoric. The Silence and Tomb is out. The Eternal Feast down as well. Gets 2 ticks. Sound Barrier popped. Wipeout taking a lot of damage in the bottom lane. Does not have Ardent Defender for another 3 seconds. Just Fizz trying to push back Archon, but that's 2 stuns on the core. Rainer's going to go down here. Core at 25%, and this looks like Archon is going to take it. Game number 1 going to Archon. GG. Great back and forth in that game there. Double Paradox controlling the early game, getting those rotations on point, getting the invades, getting those team wipes. But ultimately, in the late game, the Deckard healing started to overflow, the Cassia damage starting to cascade, and it was Archon victorious in game number 1 here on Infernal Shrines. Midnight Haze on the Cassia leading the way on the hero damage for Archon, nearly 77,000 hero damage coming out there. Junkrat leading in most stats there, siege damage and hero damage, almost 85,000, putting out big damage with those grenades. Take a quick look at the talent screen as we get ready for game number 2. All right, game number 1 is in the books. Archon picking up the first point. We'll see whether they can close out this series 2-0 or if Double Paradox can bring things back. We're going to go to the break, but when we come back, it'll be game 2, Archon versus Double Paradox. Don't go far. Alrighty, welcome back. It is game number 2 between Archon and Double Paradox. Archon going up 1-0 on Infernal Shrines, and they're going to look to close things out here in game number 2, but not if Double Paradox has something to say about it. And this draft is almost ready to go. Let's remind us again about the maps, and then we will be ready to draft it up. Cursed Hollow, Battlefield of Eternity, Tomb of the Spider Queen, and Braxis Holdout are banned for today's matchup. Infernal Shrines was picked and won by Archon in game number 1. In game number 2, Archon is taking us to Towers
of Doom.
Of Doom. Aw, yeah. Let's jump into the draft. See how this plays out. Alrighty, Towers of Doom. I really like watching Heroic Vision Towers of Doom. We're going to see Lost Vikings immediately banned away by Archon. Because of stuff like that, you get the crazy strats. When I played last season, I was down in Div D, there was one strat. There was a single one. You took a double soaker, you either took Malthael, you took Leoric, or you took Zool. And you moved between top and bottom lane, and nobody bothered anybody. And it was just 4v4 in the bottom. Nobody was allowed to leave the bottom. 2 double soakers went back and forth. But up here in Heroic, they do fun stuff like ganks and heavy rotations. So I'm looking forward to that here on Towers of Doom. Double Paradox banning away the ETC. Still just very, very strong. That Encore talent was nerfed from 8% for every hero hit on the Heroic CDR to 6%. Some say it's still too much, but I guess the stats will tell with time. No cheese today as Archon taking out both the Lost Vikings and Cho. So they want Double Paradox to have exactly the right number of bodies on the field. You're not allowed to have 7, you're not allowed to have 4. Maybe we can sneak a Samuro or a Rexar in there to thwart Archon's plan of having exactly 5 members on the battlefield at any one time. Double Paradox banning away Abathur. We got the no funny business draft starting up here. Archon with the first pick opportunity. It's going to be Ana coming out from Little Bex. Ana enabling a ton of mages, able to do great healing from afar here on Towers of Doom, and those sleep darts, especially with such a wide map here as Towers of Doom, can really punish. Just moving out to lane to try to get XP, Ana can catch you those darts. So strong first pick here coming in from Little Bex. Double Paradox thinking about their double pick in response. They are going to grab the Garrosh they banned last game, and Echo will reprise the role of Rainer. Garrosh has a particular set of skills here on Towers of Doom, i.e. throwing people across great distances into fort range and into the kill zone range. So I'm excited to see what I Just Fizzed can do on the War Chief. Archon, thinking about their next 2 picks, they're going to put the, what I'm guessing is a Nano Boost Jaina, and Midnight Haze will be playing Cassia once again, was very effective on the Amazon in game number 1. If I can click properly, I can assign a hero to the player. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Double Paradox thinking about their ban here. Offlaner and tank are the suspected remaining roles for Archon. Wouldn't surprise me to see another tank ban here. Since they already have their Garrosh, it is going to be the Diablo once again. So we will not be able to see the big red machine from Hunter CJR today. Thinking about their next ban, they've banned nonsense so far in terms of, you know, silly comps, offbeat comps. Who's left? Medivh? Samuro? These would be some offbeat picks to try to take off the board. We'll see what they're thinking here. With Garrosh and Rainer already chosen, they're going to get rid of the Urel. So we're not going to see Wipeout playing the Draenei Paladin today. Well, we saw it earlier. We're not going to see it here on Towers. Double Paradox, thinking about what they want to pair with this combo. Could see an Anduin to root alongside the Garrosh. Sometimes you see a Malfurion. See what they want to pick up here. It's going to be Stukov, actually, and a Malthael. Wipeout taking the Reaper of Death in the off lane. Stukov does have a root on 13. Big root, the Silence root. Very powerful here. Excited to see those big plays. Archon thinking about their last 2 picks here. They need someone to verse Malthael, and they need a tank. We are going to see Mei come through from Hunter CJR, and Fatal Rampage is going to pick up the Zool. So it will be a battle of the double soakers. Aelodyne will grab Tracer in the last position. Junkrat last game, Tracer this game. When I talked about interrupting rotations, Tracer is exactly the sort of hero that can get that done. Definitely going to be trying to throw Zool off that rhythm while Malthael picks up those extra minion soak orbs. Alright, game number 2 coming at you. Archon trying to close this out. Double Paradox trying to even this up. Let's get into game number 2. Here we go. Such timing, much wow. Fantastic. On the left in the blue, once again, is Archon with Fatal Rampage playing the Zool. Midnight Haze on the Cassia. Hunter CJR playing the Mei. Little Bex on the Ana. And JTR alone in the base on the Jaina. On the right in the red, we have Double Paradox with Wipeout playing the Malthael, Echo on the Raynor, I Just Fizzed playing Garrosh, Rucktel on the Stukov, and Aelodyne on the Tracer.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Game number 2 is underway. Garrosh looking to stack up that Q on level 1. Jaina looking for orbs, and of course stacking up that baseline quest. And Cassia going with the Qs once again. Really had those juiced up in the late game there on Infernal Shrines. Looking to make that happen once again. There's the double Blizzard onto the lane. Is that even allowed? I think the coding of the game just broke. Archon clearing up that wave right quick. Tracer already looking at the rotation here, trying to throw off Zool right from wave number 1. Using that recall to avoid the root. Hunter CJR trying to control the rotations here of Double Paradox. As that wave clear coming out from Mei and Jaina is serious business. Aelodyne just waiting up here. Waiting to control these rotations. In response, the rest of Archon is going to rotate between mid and bottom. So we now see both teams thinking about their sapper camps. Midnight Haze catches I Just Fizzed in that bush. And they're both going to go ahead and pick up their sapper camps. Tracer still keeping an eye on Fatal Rampage, not letting Zool move at all on this map. There it is again. The root does land onto Tracer. Midnight Haze is here with the Fend, looking for that Thunderstroke. Will not land. Mei controlling things in the bottom lane. That Slow and Blind is going to be doing a lot of work versus Raynor this game. Echo gonna have to try to avoid Mei as much as possible. Tracer having to back there after the gank attempt coming out from Midnight Haze. The clear is here for Archon, working on getting rid of that camp. Oh, Hunter CJR is thrown in. The trait of Mei popped immediately. Aelodyne coming on down, making life hard for JTR. But some nice peels, and it looks like Jaina's gonna be A-okay. Looks like Zool and Malthael, more of a gentlemanly agreement in this double soak. We'll see if Tracer heads on back up to ruin those rotations once again. Team's just really trying to control this space. They know it's a triple altar phase to start. Tracer moving on to JTR in the mid lane. A nice dismount coming out from Jaina. Prevents Garrosh from getting on top with that mount and getting the throw and stun. Zool has backed, trying to get that health topped off and heading towards the back left shrine. Or altar, I should call it. Looks like Malthael and Zool will be trading top left and top right. JTR looking for a quick cap here, but Double Paradox is here for the fight. Tracer trying to get on top of Ana in the back line. There's the blind onto Tracer. Recall is good. Stukov with some very nice silences there. Forced out by Zool, and it is now a 5v5. Garrosh gonna have to be careful here. A little bit low in the back line, relying on that Stukov healing to get back into the fight. Ruktel with the next interrupt onto JTR. Eiko is blinded. Raynor gonna have to be a little bit careful here. May pops the trait. I Just Fizz is in the back line. A nice sweep by Little Bex, though, allows Archon to reposition. Fatal Rampage is thrown and stunned. This could be trouble here for Zool. The silence as well. But Little Bex with the healing is enough. Wipeout instead is taken out. Malthael could not get quite enough healing in that back line due to that biotic grenade. Paladine being chased down. The bone prison is there. Oh, could be caught on the wrong side, and Tracer's gonna go down. May with the final tap there. Altar's still being worked on by our two teams. Level 7 is here for Archon, though. Double Paradox will need to back off and concede this altar. Tracer now back on the field. It looks like Archon does need to back for mana and health. They will not be able to perform the camp invade here. Malthael getting this top lane pushed in. Zool trying to get on up here. Wipeout going to try for the dismount. Unfortunately, no stuns to be had. It looks like Zool will pick up all the XP there. Squad's working on those sapper camps once again. We'll be picking them up. Blue will have theirs second. Cassia working on the mid lane soak. Tracer once again trying to catch this Zool on the rotation. There it is. Fatal Rampage puts out the Bone Prison. The Pulse Bomb does not land, and that will give Zool the opportunity to pass on by Aeladine. Camp clear. Once again in the bottom lane. Both teams very even on XP so far. Taking a look here. Very even on the minions. Just a little bit of a hero kill advantage here for Archon. There is the Stukov silence coming on through. I Just Fizz looking for a throw. There's the Blizzard splitting Double Paradox, forcing out the Indomitable from Garrosh. Hunter CGR getting the slow onto Raynor. Looks like Double Paradox is positioning well, staying near their fort. Malthael coming on down, trying to make this an odd number fight though. Wipeout is on the back line, does get the Reaper's Mark onto May. Could be a counter kill though. Oh, Tracer is going to go down. Nice predictive cue there from Cassia. Finds the kill onto Aeladine. Hunter CJR gets the slow onto I Just Fizz. That's a lot of damage coming out onto Garrosh. 300 health, and it looks like I Just Fizzed will get away here. Zool's not going to settle for the trade this time. We do have a double altar in the top. Wipeout going to go ahead and tap. It looks like Zool will retreat. Archon's got their level 10s here. I don't think Tracer's going to get here in time. Zool will have the left altar capture. And Archon, with their level 10 advantage, is pushing the bottom lane hard. JTR still not yet discovered. Ooh, that extra wave of Blizzard. Little Bex in trouble in the bottom lane, will be taken out. So a nice 3v3 defense there from Double Paradox. Taking a look at the heroics here, we do have the Ring of Frost and the Nano Boost. Skeletal Mage is coming out from Zool. The Ball Lightning and the Avalanche from May. Avalanche is legal here in NGS now. Bugs have been deemed fixed, so we can see the big snowball coming out from Hunter CJR. Archon working on the defense here versus Double Paradox. Eiko peppering down that cannon tower. Looking at the heroics here for Double Paradox, we do have the Warlord's Challenge from Garrosh, the Flailing Swipe, Hyperion, Last Rites, and the, what do we got here? Pulse Rounds. Zool's actually taken out by the Last Rites in the top lane. Malthael's going to start to become a much greater threat to Zool in those rotations with that last rites. Looks like Double Paradox is thinking about a camp invade. Hunter CJR sees them coming. It is a 4v4 for now. Wipeout is coming from the top lane to possibly make this an odd-numbered engage. Stopping in the mid lane for now as it looks like the invade is successful here. Aegis Fizz maybe not done. There's the unstoppable from Meg, gonna force Aegis Fizz to get on out of there. He's caught by the edge of the Ring of Frost, and that's gonna be Garrosh going down. Fatal Rampage coming in for the flank. Gets Wipeout with the root. Pops the medallion. Hunter CJR is very low here. Rucktel with a fantastic slow, forcing Fatal Rampage to start moving back. Rainer's gonna go down next, as well as Tracer. So that's 3 kills here for Archon, possibly 4. Looking for Wipeout in the mid lane, and there it is. Malthael gonna go down. Very nice string of kills there. They're gonna go ahead and invade this Sapper camp and try to take control of this bottom lane before capping this single bottom altar. Won't have long, though. Raynor and Tracer are now back on the field. Malthael only 5 seconds from returning. Looks like they're going to try to let these sappers take out this bottom fort. No one ready to back cap just yet. Razul's in the top lane. There's Hunter CJR. Trying to zone out the members of Double Paradox. It looks like they will not be attempting to invade, so the extra shot belongs to Archon. They're going to go up 32-23 here. Double Paradox waiting for their opportunity to attack the bottom lane. Ana and Cassia looking to clear this lane and ward away the members of Double Paradox. Level 14-12, they do have a talent tier advantage, and here comes the defense. Archon going to be trying to control this bottom tower for the rest of the game, as Zool and Malthael work to maintain the XP advantage for their squads. Jaina finishing up that globe quest. That means that mana will be less of a problem for JTR going forward. So we're getting a lot of pressure in that top lane, but Aelodyne does squeak out, looking for a possible gank onto Zool. Double Paradox committing a lot of resources to this top lane. Tracer looking for Zool, but Zool shows in the mid lane, leaving Archon down here to just clear these waves. May get a move to the middle, looking to protect Zool here, help with the clear. Double Paradox is coming in from the top, though. Aegis Fizz wants a throw. There's the unstoppable. The taunt onto Zool. Looks like Fatal Rampage may not get away here. The Pulse Bomb is out. Skeletal Mage is trying to slow down the members. Oh my gosh, a gigantic Ring of Frost. That's going to be Stukov and Malthael going down. Raynor as well. Aegis Fizz is going to be next. An unbelievable Ring of Frost coming out from JTR. Nets Archon 4 kills. Looking for their 5th structure here is Archon. They've got the 16-13 advantage. Tracer the only one left on the field. Jaina gonna get this Sapper camp pushing in the bottom lane. May going to capture this bottom altar. Looks like they won't get too greedy. They're not gonna go for the 6 cap just yet. But they are gonna get 6 shots here, and now with a 3-level lead and a full talent tier advantage, this is a real tough spot for Double Paradox to come back from. Midnight Haze avoiding the silence root combo coming out from Rucktel. Now, once again, the advantage is on Archon. They do have control of this all-important bottom lane. They're trying to escort these sappers for an extra 3 shots. Zool rotating along with Malthael. Malthael now very important that they rotate around and get as much experience as possible. The 3-level lead has been re-established. Trying to clear away these minions. Hunter CJR trying to force back Aiko and Rucktel. It looks like Aegis Fizz is ready to go in. Tracer. Malthael will be going down to the Jaina damage here. Stukov is sent all the way to the back line. He's going to have to try to retreat the back way. The flailing swipe comes out. The rest of Double Paradox retreating into the kill zone, but JTR is on the chase. Raynor is actually going to go down here. Stukov going down due to JTR. And that's another 3 kills for Archon, 14-2 in the kills so far. They didn't get scored any of those sappers in, so they're going to try again with this camp steal. Zool working on a 6 cap in the top lane. Using those skeletal mages, will be working on this 6 cap along with that minion wave. That's a lot of damage out onto Garrosh and killed inside the kill zone. Aelodyne Could be next here. Hunter CJR using that trait to heal back up. Illidan trying to stop these sappers. That's one shot, and now the 6 cap is on. 3 extra shots from the sappers. Double Paradox going to try to take back this mid-altar. Ana in the bottom lane. Oh, we've got a triple altar phase. I think this is going to be checkmate here. The shots are raining down. The altar's being taken by Cassia and Ana. This is going to be game. And there they go. I missed it by 1. Here they come. Here they come. Archon picking up the 2-0 domination. GG. All right. Towers of Doom going over to Archon there, making it look elementary that game. Once again, Midnight Haze on the Cassia leading the damage, nearly 46,000. Raynor, played by Echo, putting out 34k for Double Paradox. And Archon, they really controlled this fight from start to finish. There were some crafty tracer plays there from Illidan, making sure that that Zool could not rotate pretty much at all for the first phase of the game before those altars came on through. But great adjustments by Archon, making sure they picked up that XP in the mid lane, got that rotation going, and they pick up the 2-0 win. Take a look here at the talent screen, and then we'll see if we can get a winner's interview with Archon. Alrighty. See if we can get a member of Archon on here for a quick winner's interview. Let's update the stats. There we go. Looks like we're going to get Hunter CJR in just a moment. Go ahead and set that up. Hope everyone had a fantastic time watching today's series. We had some Wipeout hype in the chat. Glad to see everyone cheering for their team. Should have an interview for you in just a moment here. And there we go.
Oh, there he goes. Hello.
Hello, Hunter CJR. Thank you for coming on by, and congratulations on the 2-0 victory.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Fun games.
Absolutely. Some very good stuff there. Game number 1, very back and forth there on Infernal Shrines. Taking a look at the opening drafts, what do you feel like came out from Double Paradox that really threw the biggest wrench into your plans there?
Let me look at the drafts again. Honestly, Lucio was a big problem for us, and Junkrat in general, I think, is a hero that a lot of teams do not so great against. I feel like he's really strong right now, even with the changes and with us getting Joe, who doesn't really care about his traps. I feel like Junkrat was a big problem for us.
I have seen an awful lot of Junkrat in these high-level games coming out from Heroic, doing very, very well. The zone control, especially from those traps, is really really tough to deal with.
Yeah, traps and boops are very strong. Plus, he has probably the safest wave clear in the game, and it's extremely good wave clear too. It's not instant, but it's very good. So, good hero.
Absolutely. We saw some great plays there coming out from Illidan in game number 1. Ultimately, though, in the early game there on Infernal Shrines, it looked like Double Paradox was really controlling those rotations well. What were the comms like going into the mid game, and what sort of adjustments were you looking to make as the early game started to unfold?
Yeah, early game, it was mostly people saying, "Oh, I inted," and then other people in the team being like, "Yeah, you inted." But we started getting rotations down, playing more as a team because a lot of people were playing disjointed. We didn't have a warm up today, so that was our first game as a team together for the day. As you could see probably throughout the game, and especially going into game 2, we started playing more as a unit, and I feel like the main thing that helped us too was, since it's Infernal, once we stopped having to rotate and started just team fighting together, we were on the same page. especially since as a team we're probably better at team fighting than rotations and map control.
Okay, yeah, we definitely saw you guys, once those team fights started rolling, really turning things around. Even so, back and forth through the mid-game, but ultimately in the end, fantastic team fights at the end, really controlling the space, keeping that pressure on, and picking up the win there in game number 1. Taking a look, though, at game number 2, Towers of Doom, you pretty much held on to control from start to finish, except for possibly that Tracer kicker coming out from Double Paradox, really making things tough for Zool. What were... it looked like you guys started to adopt a solo top lane and a rotation between mid and bot to try to counter that. Is that a strat you were expecting to come out from Double Paradox there on Towers?
No, I personally didn't know really what they had picked previously in other games or what they favored in Storm League or anything like that. When we picked Zool, usually it's to double soak on towers. He's very good at it, but there's no safe way to do it. So if you're facing like a Tracer or a Zeratul or something, you have to just stick Zool in a lane, have him do his own thing, and then rotate when they're not on the map. Right. Honestly, though, Fatal did a good job of not getting picked. I think he only died once that game, so I think it turned out very well for us, especially since our 4-man is able to safely rotate. Even though they had a Garrosh, like we were fine rotating through. It
was definitely a different story there in game 2. You guys were really controlling the rotations there between mid and bot, doing a great job with the Mei especially. Trying to think what else was a possible problem in that game. Actually, talk to me about Ana first pick. Now, Ana obviously very strong in the healer pool right now. Is that something that Little Bex likes to play a lot, very sort of a comfort in that first pick? Or is that something you guys feel is just super strong?
I feel like it's super strong. Little Bex hates it. She hates playing Ana. It's
very
funny to me. Yeah, every time she picks Ana, we pick Ana, she's like, we lose. Every time. It's fantastic. I think, honestly, that's the driving force in why our team picks it so often, is just to hear Little Bex complain about it. That's why I like playing it. But Little Bex plays it well anyways, and I do feel like it is... definitely the top tier of healers right now is Ana, probably Deckard. Even after the Ruby nerfs, he's still really good.
Okay, yeah.
And
I was going to ask you about Deckard there.
Yeah, Deckard's also good, even though Ruby did get a pretty big nerf. The Heroes kit is very strong, and we play around it well. Our team usually goes for longer fights, so those two healers keep us up throughout the fight without having too many mana problems.
All right, sounds good there. Now, we saw your tank pick in the end there was Mei. Very good control there. We didn't get to see Mei at the end of last season, and I believe we got to the beginning of this one with without you having to pick Ice Wall there. So we did get to see the Avalanche from you today. Do you feel like there's any situations where you'd be taking Ice Wall, or is Avalanche just too good with the displacement?
Avalanche is really strong. I think overall Avalanche is a stronger pick, even though I whiffed 90% of my ults that game. I hit like one good one, and then the rest were just whiffs, zoning ults. But Icewall is very good for if your team has a very combo-heavy style. So with Ring from Jaina, it wouldn't have been bad at all. And I do think at 20, Icewall's value is insane. The 20 upgrade where it reduces their armor by 25 and does a good chunk of damage. If your team has any sort of follow-up, like a Jaina, even like a Kael'thas or an Orphea or something like that, where they can just combo it immediately off the Ice Wall, whoever gets Ice Walled should die. It's that like 25 armor is such a huge amount of damage on an already pretty good ultimate. I don't think the wall part of Ice Wall is too good, but keeping them locked in for a big ult is insane.
All right, definitely good analysis there. I'm happy we actually get to play with Avalanche, that it was fixed enough that NGS was able to bring it in there. Last question for you. Gladiator's Medallion. We saw some great usage from both teams throughout this series, but we're pretty early in the implementation of this mechanic. Do you feel like you've got a pretty good idea of how to use it? Do you feel like you're still learning how to get the most value out of that? And how do you think it's affecting games so far?
I will say it makes tanks jobs a lot harder. If you're playing dive tanks like ETC or Noob and they have Medallion up, you literally can't do your job, because if you dive too heavily and they just Medallion it, you die for free. Which is why I do think ETC has a little bit of the lower priority despite being such a strong tank, especially leading into the before the changes.
Right,
But
right.
I do think maybe we'll start seeing some cheesier picks like Mathael and Tyrael with it, because you can Medallion and then safely use their ultimates, which do have a startup animation.
Okay.
Which I don't know how strong that'll be, but like it'll be hilarious to see Tyrael Medallion into Sanct to end a match or something, because there's literally nothing you could do about it except like Maw or one of those big ultimates. But I think teams are going to start figuring out how to use Medallion more, and as the season goes on and going into next season and everything like that, it'll become such an integral part of the game that everyone's going to forget the time when it wasn't in the game.
It does seem like a change that has been overall interesting for the game. It doesn't seem problematic yet. So
Yeah.
it does seem like something that'll stick around. But like you said, I'm interested to see when people start figuring out the offensive uses for the Medallion. I think that's when we might start seeing a couple changes, if any. But yeah, I've been excited to see the usage so far. So okay, once again... Oh, sorry, did you have something else on Medallion?
Oh, no, I was just saying, yeah, same here. I think there's a few DPS that heavily benefit from it too, but I think the main changes is for tanks.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. When your whole plan is you got to pick one person and stun them out, and everyone has an opportunity to just get out of it. It's one more thing to keep track of on 5 enemies for sure. That's making your life harder. Well, that will do it for now. Once again, congratulations on the 2-0 domination. Are there any shout-outs you'd like to make before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out Archon in general. They've had me on to sub for a few games. It's always a fun time. The games against Double Paradox were really good, so shouting them out too. And thank you for casting us, and thanks NGS for putting on so many quality tournaments as they've been doing. I've played NGS quite a few seasons now, and it's always a fun time, and it's always well made.
Awesome. Fantastic to hear. All right, well, thank you for coming on in, and good luck going forward.
Thank you. Appreciate it.